I think when we started out in Monochromatic Pictures, when I kind of created that label, founded it, it was really to scratch that itch of wanting to tell stories my way. I was freelancing, I was doing projects for other companies, other producers, but you know, in doing it well and in learning, I always found like, oh, that wasn't my voice. I had another story to tell. I wanted to tell, look at that character perhaps from a different perspective. And the only way I could do that was to like level up, I guess. I decided to I'm going to start this label. I'm going to tell stories my way, and I thought it was going to be a piece of cake, but yeah, it wasn't. The first few years were brutal. I think anybody wants to start a business or a company will probably know that, and across the board, industry, non-specific to any industry. But what happened in Mono was I felt I wanted to tell stories that were larger, because that's what I grew up on, that staple, both from Asian as well as Western cinema. I always gravitated to things that were larger than life, and I think it was from watching movies. I went in there, I was lost in that world for 2 hours, and I wanted to bring that experience into my stories, and I found that I could do that successfully to some degree, using normal conventions, like just regular live action filming. I could do that. But then I felt like, no, I was also restrained, and that's where I looked at CGI. I looked at computer graphics, visual effects, and today we even incorporate practical effects into our things. I looked at this aspect of production design / also digital enhancements, we want to call it, these kind of CG characters and all that, to broaden my storytelling, and I was like, oh, and that excited me when we did our very first short film called Happy Place. It was a story of a sibling losing his sister, right? This brother losing his sister to a disease, and I was like, I could do it the way that she has, let's say, a cancer or this disease, and portray it in a normal way, but I went the fantasy route. And in order to do that, we exaggerated this production design, the styling. We brought in CGI to kind of use visual metaphors for what was happening to her, and it was all in good fun. But as a creator, it was like, yes, technology also was allowing me to tell my story in this proper way, and I was really embracing it, and the work that also brought on, because CGI is not like you snap your fingers and you have it. Back in that day, it was a lot of work. I think hardware and software is not where it's at today, but it allowed me, and I saw what happened with that, and I was really happy with it, and that film traveled. That film actually, even when it was viewed locally here, I think there were certain considerations, peers were like, oh, okay, you're doing something different, and that was nice. That validation, all that hard work kind of paid off, and I started to do that. It empowered me to the point where I didn't feel afraid of CGI and bringing that into my stories. Next project came along, we upped it. Then we did it in series, in the television series, and from virtual we started to incorporate practical effects. We work with a great team of now visual effects makeup artists, and they come in with prosthetics, this and that, and fast forward to today, across paranormal series, sci-fi short films, it's all gone towards enhancing, but actually complementing, what I want to say as a storyteller. So CGI is a great tool, to kind of look into and not be scared of it. And the advancements in CGI, in motion capture, and all these things are phenomenal. Softwares that we used back in the day, like Maya, 3D Max, and all that, are so much more advanced today, and they're integrating it with live action so much better. The appetite of today's audience, and the youth are also to be thanked for it, is they don't discriminate. They see something CGI, they will, if it's good content, they will accept it. They see something in animation, and they take all these forms, and they're so varied in their appetites for content that it's great actually for a storyteller like myself, because I feel okay, now I have to sit down and look at all these formats, all these tech, and I know via each of them, I'll be able to reach out to a certain audience, and that's where I feel that it doesn't make my job feel tiring, or I don't feel like I've reached the end of my game, and that's what excites me.